Hey everybody, it's me Amanda with Once in a Wild. Welcome to our special live stream here at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, but it's a different day than our normal live stream time, isn't it? I believe it's Friday night and it is Halloween Eve. So happy Halloween early from us here at Once in a Wild. And we're really happy to see our friends, family, and followers joining us for this special live stream time. So thank you so much ahead of time for joining us. As always, this is an interactive event. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever for me about the animals we're going to meet today or about any of our other guests that are coming on the show, because we do have some special guests coming on in just a moment, please feel free to type in your questions down below and I'll do my very best to answer your questions. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to see if there's anybody watching so far. It looks like we do have some viewers already. Hello, nice to see you. Thank you for liking my outfit. That is so nice of you to say. And hello, Amanda. Not talking to myself. There's another viewer named Amanda, but my name is Amanda as well. If this is the first time that you're meeting me, hello. This is Once in a Wild, our mobile zoo right here in San Antonio, but we're also a virtual zoo as well. And today you're in for a special Halloween treat. We actually have some of our very, very, very famous friends coming in, and should I say flying in, to meet us right now. Come on, friends. Come on into the
Hello.
Forbidden Forest. Oh my gosh. Can you please introduce yourself to all of our friends, family, and followers?
Hello, my name is Harry Potter. Hi, I'm Ron Weasley.
And I'm Hermione Granger.
It is so nice to have each and every one of you guys here on the show with me. I am just a mere muggle, but it's so nice to have you on here. I'm a huge, huge fan. So now that we've met each and every one of you, let's go ahead and maybe have two of you exit and one stay on. Is that okay? Just so we can have a little more room to meet our animal friends and myself in the forest. This might be the Forbidden Forest, but it seems like it's a little small today. So let's go ahead and do that. Who wants to hang out first?
I'll go ahead.
Wonderful, Harry. You can stay right here with us and we can say hi to our guests.
Goodbye.
So Amanda says, hello, Harry.
Hello, Amanda.
And we have Lisa saying hi from Lachlan and Lindley.
Hello, Lachlan and Lindley.
Thank you for being here, everybody.
Some wonderful names.
They are. I believe so, too. And it looks like Amanda is new here. Welcome, Amanda.
That's wonderful. I'm new here, too. So.
Wonderful. Okay, so shall we get started with meeting some animal friends?
Yes, we shall.
So it's so nice to have you here.
Thank
so
you
how have
so
you been,
much.
anyway?
I've been pretty good, you know.
Wonderful. How's that Nimbus 2000 holding up?
It's holding up pretty well.
Wonderful. Great. Okay, some more people are saying hello.
Hello.
Hello, Sandra. Okay, Harry, I heard that you speak 2 languages.
I do.
What is one of your languages that you speak?
Well, I speak quite a little bit of parcel tongue.
Tell everybody out there that may not know what that is, what parcel tongue actually is.
Well, I do have the ability to speak to snakes, which is not very common.
No, and I can't even do that. So shall we meet a snake and see if maybe he can talk to you today?
Sure.
Okay, well, I'll be right back. You stay right here, Harry, and maybe talk to the people for just a hot second. And I'm just going to step right over here and retrieve our snake friend.
Wonderful. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. That's quite a snake.
Here he comes. So this here, his actual name, for real, is Slytherin. And Slytherin is a beautiful snake. He is a California king snake found right here in the United States, in the state of California, and some other surrounding states that are right near California. What do we think about him?
Well, I've had my fair share of both Slytherins and snakes. So.
For sure. I heard that you were almost chosen as a Slytherin.
I was.
But then you said no.
Yes.
No, thank you. Why was that?
I love Gryffindor.
Fair enough. So the animal mascot for Gryffindor is the eagle, correct?
Yes.
So for Slytherin, though, it's actually the snake. Right here is Slytherin, a beautiful California king snake. And you know, Harry, that snakes have a bad reputation.
Yes.
But they really don't deserve it. Did you know that?
I didn't know. I've had pretty bad experiences with snakes myself.
Have you? I wonder if he would, I don't know if you can demonstrate some parcel tongue. If you can't, that's okay.
Sure, I don't think today. But
Would you like to hold him?
Sure,
You certainly
yes.
can. So don't forget to show him to our audience over here as well, right here.
Oh.
The camera's right here. So this here is Slytherin, a beautiful California king snake. So as you can see, he's got stripes on him, a beautiful striped or banded pattern, which is what we call it, banded. And that special banded pattern is actually for protection.
That's very
So
interesting.
it kind of looks like our ties, right?
Yes.
But that banded pattern is going to look kind of unusual in the animal kingdom. There's not that many animals that have a pattern like this. Most animals have kind of a camouflage pattern, which helps them to, of course, blend into the background. He does the opposite. He's actually going to stand out to his enemies and say, "Here I am, look at me." And do you know why that is? I wonder if anybody out there knows. Oh, it's Slytherin. Viviana says she is very familiar with our show and loves Slytherin. And let us know out there also which house in Harry Potter you happen to be in. That would be fun to find out. I myself today am a Ravenclaw, as you can see, Ravenclaw. And I don't think Ravenclaw gets enough love, so I figured. But anyway, so Slytherin would basically have this pattern in nature, in the wilds of California and otherwise, to be able to stand out from the crowd. So this is going to tell other animals to leave them alone. So that's going to look very unusual in nature. And typically a pattern like this is going to stand out and say, "Hey, look out, I'm dangerous." But it's actually just pretend. He doesn't really have any venom. He's not poisonous, non-venomous. The only animals that he is actually dangerous to is his food. Do you know what snakes eat?
I do not. I wonder if any of them do.
What do you guys think that snakes eat? And why do you think we call them the king snake? That is going to be very, very specific to this species. Slytherin, right? Everybody's saying hello to Harry. Hello. It looks like Amanda over here is a Gryffindor, fellow Gryffindor. That's awesome.
Gryffindor pride.
Gryffindor as well. Oh, rats. Rats are definitely going to be something that a snake might eat. Don't tell Ron's pet rat. Scabbers. But it looks like, yes, that is correct. We are going to have, sometimes these guys do eat rats, but sometimes they eat lizards. Sometimes they eat frogs. Sometimes they eat fish. Sometimes they even eat other snakes. So that's going to be very, very special about the king snake, is that they eat other snakes. And that is why they call them the king snake. Because they are the king of snakes, because they sometimes eat other snakes. That is called cannibalism, isn't it?
So I've had quite a few experiences with large snakes. Is this as large as the king snake comes?
Good question, Harry. So yes, this is about as large as Slytherin will get. However, snakes never stop growing. So they're one of the few animals that never stop growing their entire life. As long as he's alive, he will grow just a little bit, little by little. But as a baby, they grow a lot faster. And do you know what the snake has to do as they grow?
What do they have to do?
They have to shed their skin.
Oh,
so a lot of times they will shed the outer layer of skin, and usually about once a month, and they will grow that way. And they have to do so in order to grow, just like every other reptile. But this is about as big as they get. They don't get much bigger than this because he is, well, middle-aged to older. We don't know his exact age, but we guesstimate he's around 15 to 20 years old. And this species can live into their 30s. So he is about as big as they're going to get. That's a good question. I know you've dealt with like pythons and things like that before.
Much larger than
Those are much larger. Cedric says, "Nice costumes." They are not costumes, Cedric. This is how we look all the time. Yes, this is the real Harry Potter. Lucy says she's a Hufflepuff. Hufflepuffs are typically very, very good with animals, aren't they? Yes, other snakes. Viviana says, other snakes, and Slytherin eats other snakes, right? That's why they call him the king snake. Well, Slytherin as an individual doesn't really eat other snakes. He actually typically will eat things like mice and other rodents. And Slytherin, being an old man, he's actually pretty set in his ways to where he typically only wants to eat mice. So in nature, they would eat other snakes and lizards and things like that. An individual, he does have his own personality and preferences.
Well, then we'll keep him away from Ron.
Yes, we will keep him away from Ron. So want to know about Slytherin the king snake. He rules the kingdom? I don't think that's true, although that's a good guess. I'm trying to make sure that we can see all of us in this frame. And thank you so much for tagging your friends, everyone. That is very helpful. If you are just joining us, we have our special friend Harry here behind me. And Slytherin is out right now, and Slytherin is meeting Harry. Harry, did you want to know anything else about Slytherin today?
I don't think so, no.
What do you think of him?
Quite fascinating, though.
Do you like him?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I'm so glad. So a lot of people are afraid of snakes, but snakes really don't mean us any harm. Most snakes are not harmful to humans at all, and they actually do us a lot of good. Do you know how they do us a lot of good?
No, I do not.
I stumped you again. That is okay. So they are going to eat those rodents that we talked about. So if we have too many rodents, we might get sick. And of course, that's not going to be good this year. We need to make sure not get any sicker than we already are. I'm going to stand back a little bit more. So they help us out with that. So all predators are like that. They're going to help keep the populations of those prey animals like rats and mice and other animals like that, help to keep those prey animals in check and not too many of them so that we don't get sick. Birds too. Yes, they can eat birds as well. All kinds of things. He's pretty. Thank you for saying that, Sandra. That is so nice. I hope you're talking about Slytherin. That is very, very true. So what do you guys have to say about Slytherin? Do you have any other questions about him? Please let me know. Would we like to meet our next animal friend, though?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Harry.
This has quite changed my mind about snakes.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's what we like to do here at Once in a While, is kind of introduce people to animals that you might be scared of. I know it's Halloween season right now. We don't mean to scare anyone with our animal, but we do have some creepy crawly friends to meet, and maybe they're not so scary after all, right? Okay, Harry, if you don't mind, I'm actually going to have you meet a dragon.
Oh, I have experience with dragons.
Why don't you tell everybody about your experience with dragons?
Well,
several of them, right?
Quite a few of them, yes.
What about the Hungarian horntail?
Yes, that one was quite a pain.
I think it started off small, though, right?
Yes.
And fit in the palm of your hand.
And then it grew much larger and much more harder to handle.
Yes, and this one, fortunately, does not have any wings. This is Eddie, the bearded dragon. He kind of looks like that Hungarian horntail, right? And you're welcome to actually just kind of touch him right there on the back if you want to. Does it feel similar to the dragons that you have dealt with before?
Yes. I'm very curious to know what these spots are for.
So he does have all kinds of kind of patterns. Maybe if I come this way, all kinds of patterns on his back. That's going to be partially for camouflage, but it's pretty rough to the touch, isn't it?
It is, yes.
So that is going to protect his body with basically armor on his body. So like all reptiles, they do have scales all over their body, right? And those scales help him to stay protected from his enemies and his predators and things like that. So this is an animal that you wouldn't find in your world, Harry, but you might find them here in the Muggle world in Australia, actually. And they're going to be quite common throughout the continent of Australia, living in deserts and forests over there. And in order to stay safe, they need a lot of armor. And they can also move pretty quickly when they want to as well. Oh, he looks like he's waving hello right now.
Yes, they definitely look much more nicer than the dragons that I've dealt with.
I see. Yeah, he is. These guys are definitely not fire-breathing, and they don't have wings. They can't harm you in any way. He does have teeth, but these type of dragons are not known to harm anyone. So they actually are very, very sweet. To make sure I'm in frame here. And yeah, they're actually pretty common even as a household pet. Now, a lot of people do ask us here at Once in a While if animals, you know, maybe the snake or the bearded dragon, etc., makes a good household pet. And this is actually one that I would recommend as a lizard pet to the right family. So not every animal makes a good pet for everybody, and that includes cats and dogs. Not everybody, in my opinion, should have a cat or a dog if you don't have time for them or you don't, you know, have the knowledge to take care of them and things like that. We definitely don't recommend that. But if you do some research and figure out what's best for a bearded dragons can actually make pretty nice animal companions.
They look like they make very nice companions.
Yeah, see how calm they are?
Yes.
What do you think?
I quite like it. It's much more calming than the ones at home.
Yes. And in fact, we actually do have Eddie here participate in what we call animal therapy in the Muggle world, which means that you would basically, kind of like you guys have the animal companions,
yes.
right? You can have your cat, your, what is it, your rat owl with you as well. And of course, you have an owl. Where is she today?
She is out delivering letters, actually.
Ah,
yes.
That makes sense. That's her job, right? Which, like our animals have jobs here at Once in a While to be ambassadors for their species. But yes, it's kind of similar to having a pet. But when it comes to animal therapy, it's basically just taking the time, spending time with the animals and relaxing and feeling really good. And that helps your kind of mental health and
yes.
helps you to be the best you can be, right? So we do have Eddie here participate in animal therapy Once in a While. And did you ever think you would meet a therapy lizard?
I don't think I did, no.
Well, surprise! We have several animals that are suited for animal therapy here at Once in a While, and some of them are actually reptiles. Look at that face. Now you can see why they call them the dragon, right? He does look like a dragon.
Definitely.
But he doesn't have any powers, and he can't fly, and he can't breathe fire, and he's definitely not aggressive. But they just look like what we would think of as a dragon. Viviana says, hi, Eddie. He says hello back. And Dustin says hi from Lucy. Hello, Lucy.
Hello, Lucy.
Nice to see you, Lucy. Eddie and Harry are both awesome.
Thank you.
And I'm sure Eddie says thank you as well. So it looked like earlier he was waving his arm a little bit. But did you know that bearded dragons actually do communicate to one another by waving?
Really?
So just like we are social and we can say hello everyone and wave. Right now he's just trying to move. But a bearded dragon can actually wave at another bearded dragon. They kind of make a wave like this.
Yeah.
Like that. And that basically means that they don't want to mean any harm. So if a bearded dragon sees another male bearded dragon, sometimes they will fight. But if that other bearded dragon sees a male and says, no, I don't want to fight, they will actually wave at one another and say, no, peace. I don't want to fight today. Please don't do that. And it typically works and they can communicate that way. Another way that they communicate is by their body language, just in general. So of course, just like people, if we stand up and we do this and we try to look big and tough, they do the same thing to kind of defend themselves, look big, maybe to a predator or another bearded dragon. But they're very, very smart like that. Isn't that cool?
That is cool. So what would the bearded dragon's predators be?
Oh, that's a great question. What are their predators? So in Australia, it's mostly going to be birds of prey. Birds of prey like the eagle in the Gryffindor house, right? So look out, Eddie. No, but eagles, hawks, owls, if they happen to be out late at night, but usually not owls because owls, of course,
Yes.
they're nocturnal, right? Usually in the wild. But definitely an owl might go after these guys too. Also bigger lizards like goannas and other monitor lizards that are much bigger than a bearded dragon. This is about as big as a bearded dragon gets in the wild and otherwise.
Thank goodness.
Yes, thank goodness. A little bit smaller than your Hungarian horntail, right?
Definitely.
But yes, those are their main predators are birds of prey. So eagles, hawks, and owls. Very good question, Harry. Does anybody else have questions about Eddie the bearded dragon today? I think he looks awfully handsome. Those beautiful kind of yellowish scales and everything. And do you know why they call them the bearded dragon?
I'm not sure, no.
So it kind of looks like he has a beard, but of course it's not hair because he's a reptile, right? So reptiles don't have hair like us humans and other mammals, but they do have a beard of scales.
Perhaps
You can see it kind of looks like that.
Perhaps it's not as big as Hagrid's beard, but
Right. I think Hagrid might have been a good name for Eddie as well. But yes, they do have this scaly beard here. And when they feel upset, they can also puff out their beard to make it look even bigger. And did you know that some lizards even change color?
I did not. That's very interesting.
Almost like magic, right? So they have what we call chromatophores in their skin. And when he wants to, he can actually change his whole beard black. Kind of like Hagrid's beard when he wants to, but that's only when they're upset or they want to look really impressive. And then even his whole body can turn much darker as well. And that will help him to stay warmer because if he's too cold and just like if you were to wear your black robes out in the sun, you might get a little bit warm. So he can actually change his skin to be black and then get a little bit warmer that way too. And if he feels too hot, then he can turn this color and reflect the sun too. Ricky says, like the invisibility cloak?
Yes, like the invisibility cloak.
I wouldn't know much about that, but I think you do.
I think I would, yes.
But not to turn invisible. Most lizards don't change colors to blend into the background, which is a common misconception about lizards, including chameleons, that they can change color to blend in. But it's really for temperature control and communication that they do that. And also to show their mood, like a mood ring. All right. And then Viviana says, the phoenix is actually the bird in the house of Gryffindor. The phoenix or the eagle? I thought it was the eagle too. I know the phoenix is part of it as well. So you're not wrong.
Yes.
The phoenix is an amazing animal. I wish I had one of those for an animal companion. They rise from the ashes.
Perhaps I could get you one.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Can you work on that, please? I would like to order one phoenix for once in a while. Okay, I think Eddie is ready to go settle down, hanging out down below. Maybe he's ready to go into the Coliseum. I don't know.
It was wonderful to meet you, Eddie.
Yes, I'm sure he feels likewise. Would you like to touch him one more time and tell the people how he feels?
He's very scaly, but...
Very scaly. That's an accurate description. Well, Harry, it's been wonderful, and we hope to see you by the end of the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming into the Forbidden Forest.
Wonderful.
So I think we're going to meet another famous friend, and why don't we do so now? I'm going to go ahead and let Eddie rest right next to us. And come on in. Oh, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Very well. Why don't you introduce yourself to our audience?
Hello, everyone. I'm Hermione Granger.
And tell us a little bit about yourself, Hermione.
Well, I love learning. I'm always at the library reading, and I'm from Gryffindor. I'm in the Gryffindor house. And so those are a few facts about me.
I love it. Wonderful. As you can see, I'm a Ravenclaw. So it's nice to hang out with a Gryffindor for once.
Yes, you must be very smart.
Oh, thank you very much. I certainly like to think so. I believe you have an announcement to tell us, don't you, Hermione?
I do. Actually, I think it'd be a wonderful time to announce the winner of our recent giveaway.
Okay, I'll let you do that and I'll be right back, okay?
Wonderful. All right. So, pardon me if I mispronounce your name, but the winner of our giveaway is Michelle Shadden. Congratulations, Michelle. We will message you with more information about your gift, and we thank everyone who participated. It's a very lovely gift. It has lots of sweets from Hogsmeade, and I think you will really enjoy it. So, I'm from Gryffindor House. What are some of the houses that you are in watching today? Oh, thank you, Sandra. It's an honor that I remind you of yourself. Oh, and I see you're from Hufflepuff. Lovely. Hufflepuff is very good at herbology. I'm quite fond of herbology myself. A Slytherin. Well, that's nice. Do we have our friend?
Yes, we do. We have our friend. I bet you didn't know that Draco is going to make an appearance today, everyone.
Has Mad-Eye turned him to a ferret again?
Yes. I believe Draco has been a bit naughty again.
Yes, that's not uncommon for him.
No, it isn't. And actually, this isn't Draco at all. It's just, we're just joking, everyone. Draco has not been turned into a ferret again. No. This is actually Thor, one of our animal ambassadors here at Once in a While. He does look a lot like Draco when he was turned into a ferret by Mad-Eye Moody, right? That one time. But Thor is a beautiful white ferret, just like from that one time when Draco got to become one. Did you know that white ferrets are actually not that common?
I did not know.
So normally ferrets are actually a dark brown with a mask, kind of like a raccoon. Oh, and every now and then they are white. Sometimes they're albino. He's not albino because he doesn't have red eyes. Oh. Everybody can see he has black eyes. But he's still white, right? So back in the old days when ferrets were first becoming domesticated about 3,000 years ago, a long time ago, they were domesticated for hunting purposes. So they would hunt things like rabbits and rats and rodents and all kinds of things, and birds. And they are carnivores, so that comes naturally for them, almost like a cat, almost like your cat.
My Crookshanks.
Yes, wonderful. So they're very similar when it comes to their diet. But every now and then they would have one that was born white. And do you know where the white ferrets got to live?
Yeah, where did they live?
They got to live with royalty in the castles with the kings and queens.
How lovely.
Because since they were bred for hunting purposes, the white ones would be seen too easily on the field. So having no camouflage, they got to live the lap of luxury instead.
There you go.
Lucky ferrets. So back in the old days, Thor, you would get to live in the lap of luxury just like you do today. So Thor is not a hunting ferret, but by nature, he is a carnivore. So right now he's eating a special treat, which is chicken flavored baby food, but normally he does get raw meat to eat of all different kinds.
Raw meat, all right.
Makes sense, right? So did you have any questions about Thor?
No, may I pet him though?
Of course. I'm going to hold him for you and you may pet him right there on the back there.
Oh, his fur's very soft.
Yes, he is very, very soft. They are related to the mink, the otter, of course, European polecat.
My Patronus.
I heard.
Yes.
Yes.
I love otters.
What a wonderful Patronus to have. Mine's actually a stallion, which I couldn't really bring into the studio today.
It'd be a bit big.
Yeah, well, so we'll just pretend. But an otter is a wonderful animal. They're very, very intelligent. They can swim really well. They also eat meat too. They mostly eat fish. So pescatarian. And they have webbed feet. And ferrets actually have semi-webbed feet. So he's got a little bit of webbing in between his toes there. But not much. They're not as good of a swimmer as an otter, but they are very close cousins. Isn't that wonderful?
That is. It's lovely.
Dustin says Thor is adorable. Thank you for saying Thor is adorable. I think he is as well.
Me too.
And Dustin says, where are ferrets normally found in the wild? That's an excellent question. So this species of ferret is domesticated. So just like the domestic dog or cat, they don't exist in the wild anymore. But they were domesticated from an animal called the European polecat. So from Europe. So it's right there from London and from all of Europe. And they also are from North Africa as well. So Europe, North Africa, but that area of the world. The European polecat is a type of weasel. And all the animals that we listed, including the otter, the badger, the ferret, wolverines, all of those are in the weasel family.
Weasels.
So a
okay.
fancy word for the weasel family is the mustelid family.
Ooh.
You'll have to memorize that.
I
word,
will.
right?
I'll get on that.
No problem. And I'm sure you know a lot as well because you read a lot of books from the library, like you
Yes, I
mentioned.
do.
Who else has? Viviana says she loves otters as well. Yes, a wonderful
Yes,
animal
so
to
cute.
love, indeed. Otters are very smart, very mischievous, but very intelligent, very fast as well. Sarah says she's a Ravenclaw too. Wonderful. Sandra says she wants a ferret named Draco. That would be a very, very good name for a white ferret indeed.
It would be.
Now, a lot of people think that they might be rodents. But they're not rodents, are they? Not a rat,
No.
not a mouse, even though they have cute little ears and whiskers and a cute little button nose.
Yes, they
But
do look
these
so
guys actually do eat rodents. So
Oh,
another
they
rodent-eating
really-
animal that we met. Oh, another one, I should say. We met some already today and now some more. Sandra says, my favorite is a cat. That's a great animal to
I
love.
cats too.
So do I. I really like cats too. Oh, Thor, you're so cute. I think he's enjoying these treats, don't you?
I think so. He seems
And
quite
did you
hungry.
know that ferrets, as well as most of the weasels in the weasel family, they actually change their coats in the winter. So he has
Do
a
they?
pretty plush coat right now and a lot more body weight too. He's a little heavy right now, but that's how they're supposed to be in the wintertime because in Europe, of course, they have very, very cold winters. And this is an animal that doesn't hibernate. So they have to be out all winter long surviving.
So they do need a pretty thick coat, don't they?
Exactly. And thicker body weight as
Mhm.
well. And you can pet him again if you want to. You can feel that thick winter coat.
Yes.
And since they have to survive all winter long, instead of hibernating, they will actually stash a bunch of food in their den. So they live underground in a den most of the time, and they sleep in there and live with their families in there. And they also will hunt other animals and then stash them away for later. Isn't that smart?
It is. It's very clever.
Yes. And does anybody else have any comments or questions about Thor or any of the other animals we've met today? Thank you for joining us today, by the way, on this very, very special time and this special day, which is Friday night and not Wednesday night like usual. Hermione, you've done a wonderful job being on here with our fans. Do you have anything else to say to our fans?
Well, I'm just so happy we're all here learning more about all these wonderful creatures.
Thank you, Hermione. That was wonderful. Well, I think we're ready to switch out animals again.
All
So I
right.
believe that's all from you, right? And then we have one more person to come out here and 2 more animals. And I do actually have to let Thor go back behind the scenes. So I'm going to have our next guest come and meet him really fast. So hello, who are you?
Hi, I'm Ron Weasley.
Hello, Ron. Would you like to meet Thor before he goes
I
away?
would love to. Oh, you're adorable.
He says, thank you. Don't worry, it's not Draco.
Oh, thank goodness.
And if it is, he's easy to handle at this size. So Thor/Draco is going to go back behind the scenes and rest, and I shall be right back. Ron, do you mind talking to our fans?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Hi. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Hagrid would love to see all these animals, unfortunately. He does have to be back at Hogwarts dealing with all the animals there. They're a bit more of a handful. Buckbeak. He's flying around, he has to deal with them all the time. What if some of your favorite animals?
That's a great question. Everybody tell us their favorite animals. What are your favorite animals, Ron?
Well, I love dogs. They're just so adorable.
Keep on talking, Ron.
Hi, Amanda. It's really nice to see you. And hi, Jem. It's fantastic to see you all. I'm so glad to be here. Yeah, I love dogs. They're just so nice and friendly, and they will not hurt me. That's the fun thing. I'm a bit scared of certain animals, but dogs I'm not scared of. That's good. Some people are cat people. Well, I suppose cats are okay. Hermione likes cats, but I'm not such a big fan myself.
So cats and dogs both have hair, right?
Right, they do.
Because they're mammals. Can you think of any other animals that have hair all over their bodies?
All over their I can't at this moment.
Are you sure about that?
Do you have what I... Oh, why did it have to be a spider?
So this is Blondie, the Arizona blonde tarantula. And I heard you're not such a big fan of tarantulas,
No.
but I think this is a great opportunity for you to face your fears today. And don't you worry, she's not going to go anywhere. She's not going to jump. I'm going to hold her right here for you. You don't have to do anything except for be yourself. And this is Blondie, like I said. She is a spider that we would find right here in the United States and in Arizona and surrounding areas throughout the United States on that side of the country. So what is it about spiders that you don't like?
Just so many things. The legs, the eyes, and the fangs.
So they do have 8 legs and 2 arms, and they do have fangs. The fangs are right here underneath. Can you guys see the fangs? All spiders, well, with the exception of a few, are venomous, and most spiders have fangs. All tarantulas have fangs and venom, but guess what? Their venom is totally not harmless to humans most of the time. Not harmless? It's harmless to humans most of the time. That's what I meant to say. Psych! Just kidding, everyone. So there are no deadly tarantulas to humans. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You can rest at ease. No nightmares tonight. We are talking about creepy crawly animals, right? But her fangs and venom are designed not to harm humans, but to eat her food. So that's what we call pre-digestion. That's a fancy word, right? But that just basically means that she has to make her food into a drink before she eats it. So spiders, like tarantulas, they don't have any teeth for chewing. They only have fangs for piercing. Fun. But they also have to liquefy their food before eating it because they can't chew. So it's just like somebody with no teeth. They have to drink their food instead. So her food would be things like roaches. Do you like roaches?
Not really.
I'm not really a fan of roaches either. So we actually do need spiders in the natural environment to help us with the roach population so we don't get sick. So if she were to catch a roach to eat, she can't chew it up with her non-teeth. She has to basically put venom in that roach, and then it becomes into a roach smoothie, and then she can drink her food instead. And that's what their venom is for. Ricky says, "You're doing great, Ron. Facing your fears today. Wonderful." Ron says, "Thank you."
But it's not as bad as an acromantula. Yeah, did I say that?
I guess.
I guess I did a long time ago. I don't like spiders.
Sandra says, "My favorite saying from Ron, why did it have to be spiders? Why couldn't we just follow the butterfly?" So true. Absolutely. I mean, I do understand. Spiders do get a very bad reputation, just like snakes and some other animals that we're going to meet today, right? Not necessarily the ferret. Those guys don't really have a bad reputation for some reason. Did you know ferrets are a lot more dangerous than spiders?
Really?
So the ferret can actually bite you pretty hard if he really wants to. We're not going to let that happen, of course. But the tarantula, if she were to bite me or Ron, would be okay. This type of tarantula is not very dangerous at all. Their venom would be no more serious than maybe like a very minor bee sting, which you could handle, I think. It wouldn't be pleasant, but you'd be okay. So this kind of reminds me of Aragog, doesn't it? But much smaller.
Not as bad as Aragog.
Indeed, and not nearly as many of them as that one time with all of Aragog's children.
You know, acromantulas live for a very long time. How long do these live?
Good question. So this particular tarantula species can live into their 30s or more. Isn't that amazing? But it's only if they're girls. So boy tarantulas only live up to around 5, anywhere from 3 years to 5 years. And girl tarantulas can live anywhere from 12 to 30 or 35, depending on the species. So it pays to be a woman in that case. I know. Pretty amazing. But the main reason is because, of course, they have the babies. Unlike some spiders that have their babies and then pass away, tarantulas can actually be a mom more than once over and over again. So they do stay alive long enough to do that. Sandra says she's not a fan of spiders either. No spiders. No, I hate them too. We're trying to encourage you guys to face your fears today, and that's okay if you don't like spiders. We just want to encourage you guys to maybe learn something about spiders or tarantulas and all the above, and to actually maybe learn something about them and face your fears and maybe not be as afraid anymore. So as you can see, she's not trying to hurt me. She's just standing there. Did you know that tarantulas don't have a brain?
They don't?
They don't have a brain. So they're not really thinking about harming anyone.
Huh.
They just operate on instincts. So they do have a network of a nervous system called ganglia, and that is how they operate. Here's a good question from Kayla. Hi, Kayla. How many babies can they have at once? That is a great question. So this particular type of tarantula and many other species can have up to 500 to 2,000 babies at once. They do lay eggs, and they make a little purse out of their webs for holding their babies. Isn't that fascinating? So most spiders and most tarantulas make webbing, and they can use their webbing to make like a carpet or a hammock to hang out in, kind of like some of this webbing behind me. Did you do that, Blondie? Was that because of me? I know. Watch out for the spider webs. Did you not notice them? And sometimes they can create a little bag or a purse to keep all of their eggs inside of that and hold them until their babies are ready to hatch out. Precious.
I guess it's not so bad.
You're doing fantastic, Ron.
Thank you.
That is a lot. Sandra said that's a lot. Yes, it is a lot. But that is kind of like insurance for nature. So most animals that have a lot of babies, it's because maybe not all of them are going to make it, right? So they're going to have tons and tons of insurance, tons of babies, right? In case something happens to some of that offspring.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
My mom had the same strategy.
Right? Lots and lots of siblings for you, right? That's fantastic. Yeah, you're totally right. So maybe you and the spider actually have more in common than you thought.
I guess so, yeah.
So what else do you have to say about this beautiful spider? She's a redhead just like you as well.
I guess we're not so different.
It's so true. Yeah, Ricky's laughing as well. Dustin says, spiders? No thanks. I'll take my chances with, shall we say his name?
Let's not.
Voldemort.
Let's say his name.
Dun, dun, dun. He who should not be named. And Sandra says she is beautiful.
I disagree.
Me or the spider? Me or the spider? Thank you, Sandra. Either way. You disagree?
Yes. Not about you, but the spider.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, her name is Blondie, but she's actually kind of a strawberry blonde, just like you are, Ron. Now, do you know what their hair is for? Because they're not mammals, but they have hair.
I don't
like
know
us.
what that's for.
So most animals, like mammals, have their hair to stay warm, right? These guys are cold-blooded, so they don't use their hair to stay warm. That wouldn't make any sense. They don't thermoregulate with their hair, but they use their hair for protection in two different ways. Number one is just going to be having the hair all over their body like armor. Kind of helps them to have that layer of hair, just like everyone else, I guess, except for staying the staying warm part. But another reason is to protect themselves via a weapon of hair. Have you ever heard of a weapon of hair?
Mine's kind of a weapon.
Yeah, I think so. That's why I mentioned that. It's kind of a magic trick, though, if you think about it. So they're actually going to have all these kind of wiry hairs all over their body, kind of like a wiry-haired dog or something like that. And if they feel threatened, they'll actually take their back leg and rub it up against themselves like this. They kind of look really weird when they do it. That's a terrible impression, but it kind of looks like I'm scratching myself. But essentially, they will do that, and then some of their hair will fly up into the air, almost like an invisible cloud of hair, and it'll go straight into your eyeballs. Great defense mechanism, though, right? So if you're a predator of the tarantula, saying you're like maybe a bird coming up behind her, and the tarantula feels threatened, and she starts rubbing her leg up against her body, and the hairs go out like this, they're going to go right into the eyes of the enemy.
That's clever.
Very clever, indeed. All right, has that been enough time with our spider friend?
I think I'm done.
I'm so sorry, Ron. You've done great. You faced your fears, just like a lot of people out there. Sandra says an invisibility cloak of hair. Very clever, very clever. Okay, Blondie, you are fantastic. You're not Aragog, but you're close enough. And I think it's time to let her rest. Shall we? I think Ron agrees. All right, Ron. You can relax now. Now, Ron, are you afraid of amphibians?
I'm not really, no.
Okay, wonderful. Well, you probably know a lot of potions or magic spells having to do with frogs, maybe.
Yes, there are a ton.
I know a lot of you wizards and witches know that stuff. And we do have one more animal friend. Oh, my goodness. Isn't a toad sometimes an animal companion?
It absolutely is.
witches
Neville
and
had a
wizards?
toad.
Oh, that's right. So this here is not a toad, it's a frog. And this is Francis the frog. Francis is an African bullfrog. Can you see that? So cute. So this type of frog lives in Africa, an African bullfrog, right? And they can get the size of a dinner plate.
Really?
Yes, they can be very, very large. And speaking of lots and lots of babies, frogs also have lots and lots of babies too. But they start as eggs, kind of like the spider, and then they come out of the egg as a tadpole. That's going to be all frogs and all toads and all salamanders and all amphibians. They come out of the egg underwater, actually. They start their life underwater and hatch out as a tadpole. And then eventually they do a magic trick and turn into an adult frog eventually. Isn't that neat? So Dustin says, where are all the magic chocolate frogs? That's a good question. This is definitely not a chocolate frog. So I'm not going to eat her or take a taste. It might taste more like what are those candies that taste like
30 bots every flavored beans?
Those ones. I wouldn't want a
Not the
frog
earwax
flavored
flavor,
bean.
but-
Ew, gross. Might taste like snot. So this type of frog actually eats its own snot.
Really?
Yes, really. So underground is where they're going to go when the dry season happens in Africa. So for those of you that don't know, in Africa, they don't have a winter time. They don't have a springtime. They don't have a summer or a fall. They have 2 seasons. They have the wet season and the dry season. And during the dry season, when there's not very much water, they will go underground, dig underground, and live underground until the rain comes back. And what they'll do to survive is they'll create a slime bag out of their own snot. Yum. And then when it's time to come back out again, they will actually eat the slime bag off of their own bodies. And then dig out of the ground onto the surface and find some water to live in. And that's when they actually start having those babies we talked about.
Interesting.
I know, very interesting. Very different than humans. They're kind of gross. Although, we're not that much different if you think about it. We're kind of gross too. Now all this dirt on Francis right now is just dirt. And frogs do prefer to live in mud and dirty places like that because they like to stay moisturized. Having that wetness on them helps them to stay comfortable, and they're mostly aquatic, so they like the water. Sandra says, a frog. I hope I'm doing that sound effect correctly. I think that's what you typed. Thank you guys for all of your comments and questions. That really helps us out, of course, on the show. Raquel says, a frog. I don't know if that's excited or scared. Now, you don't have to be scared of frogs. I know there are some people that are a little bit nervous around frogs. I don't know why. I'm definitely not nervous around frogs. They don't bother me at all. They can't give you warts. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
They cannot give you warts. That is a myth. Only other humans can give you warts.
Really?
So stay clear of other humans, everyone. But what other questions did you have about our beautiful frog?
Well, I know you said this was a frog, not a toad like Neville has. Well, what's the difference?
That's a great question. And that's kind of an ongoing, ever-changing, whatever you want to call it. Scientists change their mind a lot. That's what I'm trying to say, of what is a frog and what is a toad. Typically, frogs are more smooth-skinned, less bumpy. This looks like a bumpy animal. So at first glance, you would think, oh my gosh, it's a toad, but it's classified as a frog. I don't know why. So it's a good question. Frogs are typically more aquatic, more smooth, longer legs. Toads are typically more dry weather, like in the desert and things like that, with more bumps. But there's always exceptions to the rule, I guess. But they're both very closely related, and they're almost the same thing. So there's really not much difference at all. Dustin says, are frogs poisonous? So most frogs have some kind of slime on their body, which can produce some kind of toxin if you were to eat them. Not every frog has a toxin that can affect a human. I'm not going to try to eat Francis right now, like we talked about. But a lot of frogs do have toxins on their body to deter their predators. So hopefully they won't eat them again. Maybe they'll spit them back out, right? And there are very, very toxic frogs known as poison arrow or poison dart frogs. You've probably heard of them before. Typically, they have very, very brightly colored skin and markings to warn their enemies to you. So it's going to be different levels of toxicity when it comes to being frogs, but some of them are and some of them are not. Good question. But a lot of frogs are actually eaten by humans in other places and countries. Really? Jim Star says, kind of like earwax, gross. Or maybe the earwax in your experience is what she's referring to, yes. Raquel says, Raquel likes frogs, Sarah does not. Sorry, Sarah. It's Halloween and we're bringing out some creepy animals, right? Happy Halloween, everyone, early. And happy everything coming up. Hopefully we have a better year to come, right?
Absolutely.
So what is your favorite time of year, Ron?
My favorite time of year, I really like the fall.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the trees have similar colors to my hair.
Oh, very true, very true. That autumn coloration. Very, very good. That's a good choice. Are you turning around, Francis? Showing us your good side. So would you like to touch Francis?
I would love to.
Okay, I'm going to situate her a little bit differently. I'm going to hold the mouth towards me because that's where the sharp end is.
That's amazing.
What does it feel like?
It feels... I don't know how to describe it.
That's a good thing to say.
Interesting.
Not too super slimy, right? Because right now she's not wet.
It's very dry.
kind of shy. Whoa.
Francis.
Francis has left the building. So
Just
don't
like the
worry, you
chocolate
guys.
frog,
Just like the chocolate frogs,
jumping
yes.
around.
Don't worry, you guys. Francis is a very, very tough cookie. And it's okay for them to fall sometimes. They're very, very tough. I'm sure she wanted to kind of jump out of my hands just now, and she got away with it. So that's okay. Magically, she's back. All right. So as a frog, they can jump, of course. They can swim a little bit. And sometimes they jump right out of my hand. It's not the first time it's happened. But these guys are very tough. They're one of the toughest frogs in the animal kingdom. Bullfrogs are very, very tough animals. I want everybody to know that. So Sandra says, I know we were talking about frogs, but is it true that spiders are poisonous when their hair is bright colored? So most animals, just like Slytherin the snake that we talked about before with that bright kind of stark pattern, they try to warn you that they might be dangerous. When it comes to Slytherin, though, the snake that we met at the beginning, he's not dangerous. He just pretends. So some animals are bright colored because they are dangerous, and some animals are bright colored because they pretend to be dangerous. Why are you bright colored, Ron? Are you dangerous?
I have no idea.
Oh my. So that red hair is just because, huh?
Well, it runs in the family.
I guess. You didn't really have a choice there, did you?
No, I did not.
But yeah, some animals are bright colored to warn their enemies. In fact, that's usually the reason. But some animals are just pretending to be dangerous. So for spiders, I'm not really sure if that's always the case, if it's because, you know, they're brightly colored. Because I know a lot of jumping spiders and things, speaking of jumping, I know a lot of jumping spiders are also bright colored, but they're not necessarily super venomous. Now, I think it might be coming time to say goodbye to Francis, at least. But I would love to go ahead and maybe just say a final good word to the people out there. So I'm going to let Francis rest. I'm going to wash my hands really fast because I have frog all over my hands. So Ron, would you like to scoot over and let all of our other friends come in?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. Hello, Ron.
Hello.
All right. Well. I hope everybody has enjoyed our special show today. I'm sure all my friends back here have enjoyed it, right?
Absolutely.
It's been a lot of fun. So we are going to go ahead and unfortunately say see you later until next time. It's been so very much fun. And we thank everybody for being on the program today. And it looks like Dustin has one more comment. It says the king snake has its coloring to mimic the coral snake, which is venomous. Yes, that is very close. So just as a general rule, that pattern in nature is usually going to be a warning, whether it's a real warning or a false warning. Very, very good. And Sandra says, oh, this was fun. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed our special program. Thanks to all of my friends behind me, Ron, Harry, and Hermione for being on the program today. And I hope to see everybody back for our regularly scheduled program on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Central Time. And what else do we want to say to our friends, family, and followers?
Thank you so much for having us tonight.
Yes, lovely
Thank
to
you.
see you.
It's been so much fun.
Now, if you do want to watch the program back again, it will be on YouTube at Once in a While, and we will see you guys next time. Bye, everyone. Bye.